Picture this. You wake up in the morning and the world seems to line up with you. The right message pops up at the right time. You meet the person you needed to meet, and opportunities appear when you're ready to act. It feels as if the universe is speaking directly to you. Deep down, this is what we all crave, not random chaos, but meaningful connection, a sense that our lives have direction and weight. And here's the promise: synchronicity is not magic, it's a signal. When you train your mind the Stoic way, you stop chasing coincidences and start recognizing the patterns that guide you toward your best path. Most people drift, blind to the signs around them, lost in noise and distraction. But you are here because you want more. You want clarity, strength, and the unshakable confidence that your life is not an accident. That's exactly what you'll discover in this video. Together, we'll strip away illusion, uncover the real nature of synchronicity, and use timeless Stoic principles to transform scattered moments into a powerful compass for your life. Stay with me, because once you see this, you'll never see your days as random again. Number 1. The essence of synchronicity. There are moments in life when time seems to pause. You step back, your skin tingles, and you whisper, "How could this possibly happen?" You think of a friend you have not spoken to in years, and suddenly their name appears in your inbox with the subject line, "Just thinking of you." Or you cancel a trip because of a headache, only to learn later that the group you were meant to join was caught in an accident. Or you move into a new home, open the window, and find a flower blooming, the very flower your late mother once told you would be her way of saying she was still near. These are not just coincidences that make us shrug. They strike deeper, leaving us with the eerie, uplifting sense that life has whispered a secret. This is synchronicity, when inner experience and outer event meet in a way that feels charged with meaning. Explained simply, synchronicity is the holy moment, the alignment that makes you step back and sense that there is a pattern behind the curtain. But what is it really? To the Stoic mind, synchronicity is not mystical. It is a reflection of something the Stoics knew well. The universe is ordered by the Logos, a rational principle that binds all things. Nothing exists in isolation. The same intelligence that governs the stars also runs through our minds. When a coincidence feels meaningful, it may not be the universe bending for you personally. Rather, it is your perception brushing against the order that was already there, awakening you to the truth that you belong to something vast and coherent. Yet in the modern world, we rarely pause to see this. We doom scroll, we drown in noise, and we label everything either random chance or supernatural sign. Both extremes are traps. If you dismiss every synchronicity as mere chance, you strip your life of meaning and fall into despair. If it is all random, why try? But if you chase every repetition of numbers or every fleeting symbol as divine instruction, you surrender reason and sink into superstition. Either way, you live disconnected from yourself, from reality, from the steady voice of the universe. The Stoics offered a third way. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Constantly regard the universe as one living being, having one substance and one soul." To live by this is to recognize that synchronicity is not a miracle dropped from the sky, but a glimpse of unity. It is an invitation to align your mind with the order already woven through existence. You do not need to abandon reason to feel awe. You need to sharpen your reason until awe becomes clear. I once experienced this on a night of great doubt. I was wrestling with whether to leave a comfortable job and pursue work that felt more aligned with my values. Fear weighed on me. That evening, I wandered into a bookstore. My eyes landed on a single book left out of place, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I had never read it. Opening the book, the first line my eyes fell on was, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." I froze. The words cut through my hesitation like lightning. Was it mere chance that this book and that line found me at that moment? Perhaps. But to me, it was synchronicity, a signal that aligned with what I already knew in my conscience. It did not decide for me, but it clarified what was already stirring within. That moment guided me to act with courage. This is how synchronicity works when approached through Stoicism. It does not replace your judgment, it sharpens it. It does not hand you destiny, it reminds you of your agency. The danger is in misusing it. Without a trained mind, you will either ignore the signs that matter or obsess over noise. A disciplined mind, however, asks, does this align with wisdom, courage, justice, temperance? Does this call me toward action that I can control, or toward fantasies that I cannot? This is how synchronicity becomes practical, not mystical. Think of how often you have brushed past small alignments because you were distracted, tired, or cynical. The chance meeting that could have opened a door, the subtle nudge that told you to pause before a rash choice. The repeated theme appearing in conversations and books that you ignored because you were scrolling through your phone. These are missed opportunities, not because the universe withheld, but because you did not notice. The deeper cause lies in our habits. We overstimulate our senses with caffeine, sugar, and endless feeds. We never sit in silence long enough to connect the dots. We refuse to journal or reflect, so our days scatter into fragments with no narrative. We let the economy of attention drag our minds toward drama while the quiet signals pass us by. The Stoics would say, this is a failure of discipline. We cannot control when synchronicities appear, but we can control whether we are prepared to see and act on them. If you continue to live without this awareness, life will feel flat, disconnected, and exhausting. You will either explain away every moment of beauty as random or waste your energy chasing hollow symbols. But if you train your mind, you gain a different power. You begin to recognize synchronicity as the universe's subtle feedback. When your goals are clear and your actions aligned, the world echoes back in ways that confirm your path. It is not magic, it is resonance. So let me ask you, the next time life surprises you with one of these goosebump moments, will you dismiss it, or will you pause and ask what it demands of you? Will you shrug, or will you act with courage? This is the choice before you. Synchronicity is not here to enchant you. It is here to awaken you. Number 2, from coincidence to synchronicity. After exploring the essence of synchronicity, let us turn directly to the pressing question: how is synchronicity different from mere coincidence? The difference may appear subtle at first, but it is in fact profound. A coincidence is an accident of timing, stripped of depth. It may be amusing, curious, or even statistically unlikely, but it does not stir the soul. Synchronicity, by contrast, is charged with personal significance. It arrives not only as an event, but as a message, an alignment between your inner world and the outer world that speaks directly to you. Imagine you are walking on a crowded street. Two strangers bump into each other, both carrying the same brand of coffee cup. They laugh, exchange a few words, and move on. That is a coincidence. But now, imagine you are walking on that same street, weighed down by grief, silently wishing for a reminder of someone you loved who is no longer here. And just then, a song drifts from a passing car, the very song your loved one cherished, the one you shared together on better days. In that instant, your breath catches. It feels like the universe reached out to touch you. That is synchronicity. Carl Jung described synchronicity as meaningful coincidences, which are causal. To him, these events were not random illusions, but expressions of a deeper order in the cosmos, moments where the unconscious mind resonates with the fabric of reality. His famous story of the scarab beetle illustrates this. As his patient described a dream of a golden scarab, a beetle of the same kind tapped at the window. The event broke through the patient's rigid rationalism, offering a symbol of transformation too pointed to ignore. What mattered was not the insect itself, but the shock of recognition it created, an inner shift sparked by an outer sign. Now, as Stoics, we must ask, what is within our control here? The beetle, the seashell, the song, these are beyond us, but the interpretation, the meaning we attach, and the action we take afterward, these belong to us. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. If we dismiss every alignment as nothing, we starve our lives of meaning. If we rush to treat every small event as destiny, we surrender reason. The discipline lies in holding the middle ground, honoring synchronicity without abandoning clarity. And this balance is not only theory, it reveals itself in ordinary lives, in the quiet struggles of people like James. For James, there was a season when loneliness pressed heavily on him. He had just moved to a new city, and despite the bustle around him, he felt unseen. One evening, after another dinner alone, he almost skipped his usual walk through the park, but something in him said, "Go anyway." As he sat down on a bench, he noticed a worn paperback left behind, its cover bent and pages frayed. The title was, "You Are Not Alone." He smiled at the irony, picked it up, and began to leaf through. Half an hour later, as he was about to leave, a stranger passed by, glanced at the book in his hands and said, "That title saved me once." They ended up talking for nearly an hour. That conversation became the beginning of a friendship that carried him through those lonely months. Was it a coincidence that the book was left there and that the stranger walked by? Perhaps. But to James, it was synchronicity. The message struck at the very ache of his soul at the exact moment he needed it. It was not proof of cosmic manipulation, but a reminder that meaning often arrives when you are ready to see it. What mattered most was not the book itself, but the courage it gave him to remain open to connection. And when we consider moments like this, we begin to sense that perhaps life is not a collection of isolated accidents, but part of a larger web, subtle, intricate, and often hidden from plain sight. Science gives us language for this web. Quantum entanglement shows that the universe is interconnected in ways that defy our everyday logic. Chaos theory reveals hidden patterns within apparent randomness. Complexity science demonstrates that systems, whether the weather or human society, often self-organize into order beyond linear cause and effect. These fields do not prove synchronicity, but they resonate with its character, the sense that what looks unrelated on the surface may be bound together at deeper levels. Yet the Stoic must guard against delusion. Synchronicity is not a license to abandon reason or outsource choices to omens. It is not about waiting for the universe to tell you what to do. Rather, it is about cultivating attention so that when life offers a signal that resonates with your values, you are awake enough to notice it, and more importantly, disciplined enough to act. The shell on the beach, the scarab at the window, the repeated phrase in a single day, these do not command us. They remind us. They nudge us toward clarity we already hold within. So here is a practical challenge. The next time you encounter a moment that strikes you as more than random, don't dismiss it too quickly. Pause, breathe, write it down. Ask, what inner state of mind does this mirror? What value or virtue does it point me back to? And then, this is crucial, take one small action consistent with that value. Without action, synchronicity becomes superstition. With action, it becomes transformation. Ask yourself now, how many times in the past year have you brushed aside moments that might have been meaningful? How many times have you felt the tug of recognition but drowned it out in the noise of distraction? To train your mind is to resist that noise. It is to sharpen your sight until life itself becomes your teacher. And so, we begin to see, coincidence amuses us, but synchronicity awakens us. Coincidence is forgotten. Synchronicity lingers, reshaping the way we move forward. This is why learning to distinguish the two is essential. For only then can we recognize the signs when they appear, subtle yet powerful, woven into the fabric of our days. And that, my friends, leads us to our next question. If synchronicity is real, how do we recognize its signs? How do we know which patterns deserve our attention? That is what we will uncover in the next step. Number 3. The signs of synchronicity revealed. Synchronicity reveals itself in moments that stop us in our tracks, moments that feel too precise to be random. It is not every coincidence nor every curiosity, but those encounters that carry 3 undeniable marks. They arrive unplanned, they strike a personal chord, and they meet us at exactly the right time. Stoic teaching is clear. Life is not chaos. There is order woven into events, but it is only visible to a mind that is trained, steady, and awake. Consider Michael, a man who had been struggling with whether to leave a draining corporate job. Every morning, he felt the weight of dread pressing on him, yet he hesitated, telling himself it was foolish to risk stability. One evening, restless, he wandered into a small bookstore he had never noticed before. This was the first sign, unexpected. Browsing aimlessly, a book fell from the shelf and opened to a page describing the courage to live in alignment with one's values. Later that night, as he walked home still mulling over the words, he bumped into an old college professor he had not seen in 20 years. The professor looked at him, smiled and said, "Michael, I always thought you were meant for teaching." Those words pierced him. This was the second sign, deeply personal, striking the very chord he had been afraid to name. That very week, an email arrived from a local community center seeking part-time instructors. This was the third sign, perfect timing, an opportunity arriving exactly when his inner struggle had reached its peak. 3 signals, unexpected, deeply personal, perfectly timed. This was not noise. This was synchronicity. The Stoics would remind us, such signs are not illusions to be worshipped, nor accidents to be dismissed, but invitations to sharpen awareness. The wise man asks, "What am I meant to see here? What action does this moment call for?" For synchronicity without response is wasted. The Bible speaks in the same way. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Timing is not just an accident, it is alignment. When signs converge, they are often pointing us toward the season we are meant to enter. Yet how do we discern whether what we encounter is truly synchronicity or simply the mind-weaving patterns? Here is where discipline comes in. We can use a clear filter, the 4S method. First, stable. Does the sign repeat itself, appearing more than once, more than one way, across days or weeks? A true signal has rhythm. Second, specific. Does it connect directly to the choice or goal you are wrestling with, or is it so vague it could mean anything? Real synchronicity speaks to the moment at hand. Third, sober. Does it leave you calm, steady, almost quietly certain, rather than euphoric and frenzied? The Stoics teach that truth sits with tranquility, not mania. And fourth, step-linked. Does the sign invite you to act, to take one clear step forward, rather than leaving you suspended in wonder with nothing to do? If all four are present, it is not a mere coincidence. It is guidance. Think of Michael again. The book, the professor, the email. Stable. 3 reminders in 1 week. Specific. Each pointed to teaching. Sober. He felt peace, not hysteria. Step-linked. The job posting demanded a choice. Through this filter, Michael recognized that the universe was not playing games with him. It was mirroring his own hidden longing, bringing to light what he had buried in hesitation. His task was not to marvel, but to move. And he did. He applied, began teaching part-time, and within months discovered a vitality that his corporate job had drained from him for years. This is the lesson. Synchronicity is only transformative when it leads to action. Otherwise, it becomes entertainment for the restless mind. Stoicism teaches that the world constantly offers material for virtue. It is up to us to use it well. The man who trains his perception sees synchronicity as an ally, a confirmation that his path is not entirely blind. The man who refuses to see, or who treats signs as superstition, remains trapped in confusion, either ignoring what could guide him or surrendering reason to fantasy. So I ask you, how many times have you overlooked such moments in your own life? How many times has a phrase repeated itself across days, or a face appeared when you needed encouragement, and you brushed it aside as nothing? What if you began to keep a record, to test the signals with discipline, to let them shape one step forward? How different might your path become? God reminds us again, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Synchronicity is often the door swinging open, but it is our responsibility to step across the threshold. Without action, the door closes and the chance is lost. With action, even the smallest step becomes the seed of transformation. Train your mind. Notice the unexpected. Weigh the personal meaning. Honor the timing. Run the 4S filter and then move. Life will not always hand you thunderclaps of revelation. Often it whispers through ordinary encounters. The Stoics teach us to meet life with readiness. Synchronicity is one of life's ways of testing whether we are paying attention. And here we are, halfway through this journey together. If you're still watching, I want to acknowledge you. You have shown patience and a genuine hunger to grow. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment like Michael's? A sign so timely and personal, it felt impossible to ignore? Share your story in the comments. You may inspire someone else walking the same uncertain path. And don't go anywhere. The most powerful insights are still ahead as we explore why synchronicity shapes your path and how to unleash the strength already waiting within you. Stay with me. Number 4. Why synchronicity shapes your path. Why does synchronicity shape your path? Because once you begin to notice it, life stops feeling like a random chain of accidents and starts to resemble a journey with direction. Stoicism teaches that the universe is not chaos, but order, and peace comes when we align ourselves with that order instead of fighting against it. Synchronicity is how that harmony sometimes reveals itself. It is not superstition or magic. It is the recognition that certain moments matter because your mind has been trained to see them. They act like mile markers along a road, reminding you that your steps are not wasted, that you are not wandering blind, but moving within a greater unfolding story. When we ignore this, life often feels hollow. Many chase money, recognition, or comfort, yet remain restless, unsure if they are drifting closer to or farther from their true purpose. Without clarity, distractions look like destiny. But when we practice reason and discipline, synchronicity appears as if the world is answering back. A stranger's remark reflects a hidden struggle. A door opens just when you're ready to walk through. These moments don't erase your responsibility. They sharpen it. They are not final answers, but confirmations that you are capable of acting with courage. This shapes confidence. What once seemed random begins to form a pattern. Doubt shrinks, trust grows. You see that your effort is not wasted, and that sense of alignment creates momentum. The more you act, the more meaningful opportunities appear. Conviction replaces hesitation, and conviction itself draws people and circumstances closer. Synchronicity also dissolves loneliness. In our age, many feel invisible, even in crowded rooms. Yet when events connect in ways too precise to ignore, you sense you are not cut off, but woven into something larger. The experience whispers, you are not abandoned, you are part of the whole. Stoicism reminds us that we are citizens of the cosmos. Synchronicity makes that truth tangible. And beyond comfort, synchronicity inspires. Life becomes less about enduring time and more about exploring it. Every day feels like a conversation with the world. The ordinary takes on significance. Despair turns into curiosity, and curiosity into motivation. You no longer ask, is life meaningless? But what is this moment showing me? Let me illustrate with a story. Oliver was in his mid-50s, newly divorced, and learning to live alone after decades of marriage. His home felt like an empty museum, every photograph reminding him of loss. Nights were the hardest, quiet rooms pressing in like walls. He often wondered if the rest of his life would be nothing but waiting. One sleepless evening, searching through boxes in the attic, he uncovered his old guitar. On a whim, he strummed a few strings. Out of tune, clumsy, but alive. For the first time in months, he felt something stir. The next day, in a grocery store, he noticed a flyer. Community jam nights, all levels welcome. He hesitated, but curiosity won. That weekend, nervous yet hopeful, He carried his guitar to a small hall where strangers gathered to play, laugh, and share. He left that night with sore fingers and a lighter heart. A week later, in a cafe, an old acquaintance approached him unexpectedly. Without knowing his struggles, she mentioned that the local center needed help running music workshops for kids. "You've always loved playing, haven't you?" she said. Oliver froze. Music had been absent from his life for decades, and suddenly it had appeared twice in days. No single event forced his decision, but together, these moments felt like a quiet chorus calling him forward. Stoicism teaches that aligning with life's order brings peace. For Oliver, the rediscovered guitar, the flyer, and the chance meeting were not accidents. They were confirmations that meaning still waited for him beyond loss. Gradually, music became his path back. He volunteered, played at jam sessions, and discovered community again. His grief did not vanish, but synchronicity transformed emptiness into possibility. Each sign reminded him that his days were not a void, but an unfolding journey with direction still ahead. This is what synchronicity offers, not certainty but clarity. Not a way to escape effort, but encouragement to act. Stoicism teaches that the universe is structured by reason. When we align ourselves with virtue, patterns emerge that remind us of our place within it. Synchronicity is not proof of destiny, but evidence of alignment. It affirms that when you act with integrity, the world echoes back. How do you train yourself to see and use synchronicity? Start with awareness. Each evening, reflect on what stood out. Ask, what did this moment encourage me to do? Strengthen your values so you can filter signal from noise. Courage, wisdom, justice, and self-control are the lenses that reveal true guidance. And most importantly, act. A sign without response fades into nothing. But when you follow through, coincidences turn into progress, and progress into transformation. Ignore these signs, and you risk a life of hesitation, always second-guessing, always doubting. Notice them, and life grows lighter. You walk not with fear of wasting your time, but with trust that the road is alive, that you are supported, and that your steps matter. Synchronicity shapes your path because it wakes you to the order already guiding your life. It builds confidence where there was doubt, connection where there was loneliness, and inspiration where there was despair. It is not about predicting the future, but about confirming that you are capable of meeting it. And as you walk with this awareness, another truth unfolds. The greatest source of guidance has always been within you, your own mind, your own courage, your own strength. Every sign, every moment of synchronicity points back to that inner power, waiting to be unleashed. Number 5. Unleashing the power within. You've seen what synchronicity is, why it matters, how to recognize it, and how it shapes the road ahead. Now the question is simple. Are you ready to practice it? Not in theory, not as a distant philosophy, but right here, in the middle of your everyday life. This is where we unleash the power within, and it begins not with grand speeches, but with small, concrete actions that anyone can take. Start tomorrow morning. Before the noise of the world grabs your phone, sit down with pen and paper. Write 5 desires, 5 things you long for. Maybe it's, I want to repair my relationship with my father. Maybe it's, I want to feel confident in my work. Maybe it's as simple as, I want to wake up with energy. Don't judge them. Just write them down. Do this daily. Why? because your brain needs direction. The reticular activating system is like a filter. When you tell it what matters, it starts showing you opportunities you'd normally miss. Like when you decide to buy a blue car, suddenly the streets are full of them. The cars were always there. Only now, your attention is awake. Now, imagine you're at work. It's another long meeting, and your mind is drifting. Suddenly, a colleague mentions an idea that connects directly to one of the dreams you wrote that morning. Most people would nod and let it pass. But not you. You take it as a signal. You speak up. You ask a question. You volunteer. That small step might open a project, a collaboration, a chance to grow. That is synchronicity in action. The world responding to the clarity you set at the start of the day. Another example. You're walking home, feeling heavy after a fight with someone you care about. You look down and notice a heart shape in the leaves scattered on the ground. You smile. It seems small, even silly, but you choose to see it as a reminder. Love still surrounds me. I can make this right. You go home, pick up the phone, and send the message you've been avoiding. The crack in the relationship begins to heal. The sign didn't fix it, you did, but the sign nudged you to act. This is the discipline, openness. Stop crushing every coincidence with cynicism. When the same phrase shows up in a podcast, a book, and a friend's conversation all in 1 week, don't roll your eyes. Pause. Ask. Why is this coming to me now? What am I being invited to do? A student of Stoicism learns to see without superstition, but also without arrogance. Life is always speaking. The only question is whether you're listening. And once you listen, act. Picture this. You've been thinking about starting a side project. You've written it in your 5 desires. Then, at the coffee shop, you overhear someone talking about the exact same idea. Later, you scroll and see an ad for a free workshop on the topic. Coincidence? Perhaps, but the Stoic response is not to debate. It's to move. Sign up for the workshop. Talk to the stranger. Test the door that has cracked open. You may fail, but the only failure that matters is ignoring the call. Patterns also matter. Repetition is the universe's way of turning up the volume. Maybe you keep seeing the number 22, or a certain animal appears again and again. Instead of dismissing it, mark it. Smile. Say thanks. These small rituals strengthen your awareness. Gratitude tells your mind, yes, this matters. And the more you recognize, the more you will find. This is not magic, it's the brain sharpening its focus. But it feels magical because suddenly life feels personal. Remember, the Stoics did not sit waiting for omens. They created conditions where omens became useful. They disciplined their perception, trusted the order of nature, and aligned action with virtue. That's how you unleash the power within. Not by waiting for luck, but by preparing so thoroughly that when the door opens, you are already stepping forward. Think of your own life. At the grocery store, you feel the tension radiating from the person in front of you. Their energy affects yours. In the same way, your energy touches others, friends across town, strangers across the world. Every thought, every action, every small step ripples out. To unleash your inner power is to remember this truth. You are not separate. You are part of a larger whole. So let me ask you, what will you write tomorrow morning? Which signs are already circling your life, waiting for you to notice? Who have you been too afraid to call, too hesitant to approach, too doubtful to trust? Synchronicity won't give you a perfect map. but it will hand you a compass if you have the courage to read it and walk. Unleashing the power within is not about control, it's about alignment. When your mind is focused, your heart is open, your eyes are awake, and your steps are brave, life itself becomes your partner. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start saying, "This is happening for me." That shift alone can change everything. So here is your challenge. Write 5 dreams every morning. Stay awake for the whispers that follow. And when the signs appear, act. Gratitude will multiply them. Courage will carry you through them. Discipline will keep you steady when doubt creeps in. Do this, and you'll discover the same truth the Stoics lived by. To live in harmony with nature is to live with strength, peace, and purpose. The power is already within you. Train it, trust it, unleash it. The lesson we just explored is also the final step of today's journey, and perhaps the beginning of a deeper one for you. We've walked through 5 truths together. We uncovered the essence of synchronicity. We moved from random coincidence to meaningful signals. We revealed the signs that surround us. We saw how they can shape the path beneath our feet. And finally, we learned how to unleash the power within. Each of these is more than philosophy. They are lifelines for anyone who has felt lost, scattered, or weighed down by the chaos of life. If you've ever woken up with that heavy question, "Does any of this really matter?" then you know the ache that synchronicity answers. It reminds you that life is not chaos, and you are not drifting. Signals are waiting for you, but only if you train your mind to see them. So here is where I ask you to act. Tomorrow morning, write down 5 desires. Just 5. Don't scroll, don't rush, sit with yourself and put them on paper. Then, carry that awareness through the day. Stay open, notice the patterns. When a door cracks open, step through it. With practice, you'll start to feel less like a bystander and more like the author of your own story. That is what it means to live with clarity, with strength, and with harmony. If this message reached you, let it be a beginning, not an ending. Like this video to support the channel and subscribe so that every day you'll receive new signals of synchronicity, reminders, and practices to help you stay disciplined, find meaning, and grow. Together, we'll keep training the mind until synchronicity is no longer rare or hidden, but a natural rhythm in the way you live.